So I'm opening up the audio channels here. It is time to get going with Who's Gaming Now. So, hello everybody, and welcome to the evening show here for Who's Gaming Now, the Who's Developing Now portion. We have Andy Wallace here, the maker of Particle Mace. Now,
Hi there.
I absolutely love this game. I'm just gonna start into it right now. Who are you? Tell us about it. What's your background in games? What's your background in programming and art and all that sort of stuff? What did you do on the project? All of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. My name's Andy Wallace. I've been making games for, I don't know, better part of it, no, over a decade at this point. And I program and design for the most part. This project has been a passion project of mine for a while. I work full time at a small studio called Golden Ruby Games. But Particle Mace is a thing I started as a school project in grad school like 2 years ago, and it would often get put on the back burner for like 6 months at a time. But I'm going hard on it now. I'm going to actually finish this damn thing.
Nice.
And my role on this one is really just about everything. I did not do the audio. Some awesome folks, Nathan Chambers, Bobby Fada, and Anthony Arafat did the music and sounds.
Nice.
Everything else is me. So I don't usually do visuals in projects. I usually just program and design. But on this one, I went for the whole thing.
Very cool. That's a pretty big deal to. And is that something have you kind of worked on a little bit of everything on previous projects, or is this the first time you've? Okay, what are some of the other things that you've worked on then, or I guess some of the other roles that you've worked in as well?
Sure. So I tend to work on small teams, and a lot of times I'll work on things where it's kind of just me as the principal person, and then I'll reach out to some other people for help with things. Like I said, I usually program and design, but for instance, my thesis project at Parsons was a game called Find Me a Good One that I did with Hytham and Nasser, where we both did the design. He did the art, and then I did the bulk of the programming. At Golden Ruby, I tend to do programming and design, and then we reach out to other artists to have them do things.
Okay.
So usually, yeah, I'm in a kind of small team situation like that.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So have you worked at a lot of I guess a lot of different places, or just the kind of few that you were just mentioning there?
Yeah, so I've only been working full time in games for a little over 2 years, and all of that time has been at Golden Ruby Games. Prior to that, I was either a student or I was, freelancing.
I gotcha.
Okay, cool.
My
I thought I might have lost you there.
yeah, things are a little bit choppy there, but yeah, no, that's cool. Here, let me see if I can do something to improve the latency, but I think it might just be that time of the day when all the bandwidth is getting eaten up by the neighborhood. 'Cause that's just how things are. Alright, I think things have cleared up a little bit.
Sweet.
Cool. So, what about, did you do a lot of student projects? Have you done, like, global game jams, Ludum Dare, any of that sort of stuff?
Oh yeah, so I actually haven't done Ludum Dare, but Ludum Dare. I love game jams. I do tons of game jams. Not so much in the last year, just I've had a lot on my plate. But sometimes I'll see like applications for things where it's like, how many game jams have you done? And the option is like more than two.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I've done a ton of game jams. I think my best game jam story was Baby Castles in New York did a game jam around horse ebooks, if you know that Twitter account, like 2 years ago.
Not familiar.
Well, whatever. It's this whole account. It would post these like weird snippets of internet things, and so me and a few folks. Was Nathan on that team? No, he wasn't. We made this game called Disaster Wedding, starring Chance Cowboy, which is based on two Horsey Books tweets, and it wound up getting shown at a Wu-Tang concert.
Wow. What the
So yeah,
hell?
that's on my resume to this day.
That's
Like
so weird.
a game at a Wu-Tang concert. Like it was Cold Sears. It wasn't like, this wasn't being shown at an ODB show or the RZA or something.
Yeah. Oh, audio's cutting out again there. Dang. Oh no. Reestablishing call. Well, dang. I wonder what the issue is. I'll reconnect when I can. I haven't been losing frames, so I don't know what the issue is. Skype is just a jerk. We might have to move over to some other method of voice communications or something. Alright, let's try this again.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently...
Oh no! Hey folks, so we were chatting with Andy Wallace.
Hey, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know what happened
Internet.
to the interwebs
No,
there.
no, my internet dropped out. I had to just reset my router just now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I hope I didn't mess up your feed there.
No, we have to start everything over. I hope you remember all the answers. It has to
Yeah,
be word for word.
totally. Yeah, this folks
Yeah.
watching again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for all you folks that have just tuned in or just coming in here, watching on YouTube or wherever, this is Andy Wallace here. We are playing Particle Mace.
Yo.
And I'm just doing a little technical behind the scenes thing right now to make things a little more convenient. Can you see me in Skype over here?
I can see you. Are you asking me?
Yeah, you, Andy.
Yeah. No, I
Awesome.
can see you.
Cool. It's a weird configuration to make it so your guests can see you and the people on the interwebs can see you. So.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of watching myself on Skype and then also on the Twitch feed. It's like a delay there. It's entrancing, actually.
What's it like to see yourself in the past?
Yeah, and mirrored.
Yes, and mirrored. Alright, so I mean that would actually be kind of an interesting mode where you have mirrored controls. But you're pretty much like in the march to feature completeness at this point, right?
Yeah, totally. So for the past year, the game has been ready to be released in 3 months. And obviously that hasn't happened. But I swear to God, this time it's super close.
Nice.
Pretty much, it's on early access right now, so you can check out the current version. It's unlikely to change too much. I'm doing tiny, tweaky balancing things. I've got a few bugs I'm trying to fix. I'm making sure it works with as many controllers as possible, that kind of stuff. But a lot of what I'm doing at this point is really just getting the thing ready for release. Like making Steam trading cards, making sure it passes Apple's requirements, that kind of stuff. The game is really just about, it's feature complete.
Oh no, the interwebs again.
I still got you.
Oh wait, sorry, you were cutting out a little bit there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Could you kind of you kind of cut out when you're talking about Apple stuff?
Oh yeah, like I just have to submit the thing to Apple because there is an iOS version, and then probably they'll reject it because they're crazy half the time. Oh You're doing good on this flood mission.
Yeah, I unfortunately flubbed it. And now I've got 2 particles and the flood's coming, but at least this is gonna help with if I can get past and start getting around to them to the hiker mission, because now I have less particles and less asteroids flying around. Because it's kind of tough to complete that one. Some of the configurations of missions I've gotten have just been absolutely brutal.
Oh yeah, they can get real nasty. So what I do have a lot of stuff in there to prevent the really, really problematic ones. But I'm totally fine with it, throwing out some nasty combos.
Well, it's kind of the challenge of things. I actually almost think it'd be nice if there was a feature to let people speed run the game and try to go through the missions in the lowest amount of time possible. Basically, the lowest amount of actual gameplay time spent.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I like that.
Because then they can challenge their own time. They can challenge their buddies. Have a leaderboard for it. Could have special challenge mission sorts of things that are just for the speedrunners. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ideas that can go into it, but once again, I understand. Like the whole trying to get it completed. Features can come later. It just needs to be released. I understand that.
Yeah. If it makes you feel good, I just wrote that down. I think it's a cool idea.
Nice.
Probably, won't be there at the initial release, but that's what updates are for.
Yeah. Then I guess I'll, if you didn't remember it, I'll hit you up again with the one I had at Indiecade for when you're doing the multiplayer. When somebody's really behind for a while, that they can, the background changes to start flashing in their color, so they essentially get that kind of stealth feature.
Don't worry, that's in my notebook as well.
Nice. Yeah, I've really been enjoying kind of seeing what's been going with the game. Like I was saying, the Cascade ship. I love this thing. It's
Yeah, that's a fun one. It was really overpowered for a while. I'm hoping it's not overpowered now, but time will tell. It's the newest ship, so it's the least tested. And one of the really nice things about being on early access is I can see the leaderboards, which gives me a lot of information about what's doing well, what's doing too well, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint for those Gemini missions, though. Play as the heavy ship.
For the smashing power?
Yeah, because if you're already limited to 2 particles, if it's the heavy ship, you at least have 2 big ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with this. I roll with this usually. I used to do a lot with the jelly ship actually for those kinds of missions.
Yeah, so the jelly ship is one of those ones that I kind of kept around just because it seemed like it had enough of a following. Even if I didn't totally understand it, but I made some tweaks to try to make it a little more competitive, and it's still not my favorite ship. But as far as I know, the high score in the game is currently set with the jelly ship.
The way I was using the jelly ship is I would get them where I wanted and kind of line things up and then push towards them and kind of use it like a shotgun essentially.
Yeah. No, and that's totally deliberate.
It's pretty cool.
Or I mean, that's not deliberate entirely. Like I would just make things and see what happens most of the time, but I was like, oh, that seems like how this ship can work. And when I did make tweaks after the fact, I tried to support that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, everything in this game is just process of experimentation. So little of it I actually designed.
Ha. Nice. I mean, that's a cool way. When I first saw the game, I thought it was like a fully procedural sort of experience. And to some extent, the placement of everything and the way everything's distributed, it kind of is procedural, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's random within parameters, but I don't design oh, the asteroids are going to come out here or whatever.
Right.
Everything's just kind of on timers that are set semi-randomly. And then at certain score points, it'll change the spawning a little bit. The border, actually, and this is one of the interesting things, the border is totally set. And so it's it starts moving around and really messing with you.
Yeah.
and those things are not. It's not random. It always does the same things at the same time. I just never noticed because you have to be playing for so long. But that guy on Steam who would like play hard mode and like have rounds that would last 9 minutes. He has videos. They're crazy. He was like, hey, I noticed the border moves the same way every time. And I was like, yeah, I guess you did because you're super good at this game.
Yeah.
So that actually might be something I mess with a little bit, is to have the border be a little more procedural in how it moves.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw some patterns that I hadn't seen before, like the you called it the box, but it's kind of almost a trapezoid, I think. I don't remember seeing that before. Of course, that might have still been in there before, and I only played it once or twice.
Yeah,
But-
so I think there's like 2 missions that use that one. It used to be a multiplayer level, but then I decided it was kind of boring in multiplayer, but I just had this level that I already made, so I found a mission or 2 to use it.
I like it as it's you're constantly moving. Yeah, you can't really stop too much. And if you're using a slower ship, you're already basically in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Should probably use
Yeah,
a
I like,
more durable
I think
ship
it's
for
the-
this.
I think there's a later mission where there's a ton of asteroids in that moving box, which I like because it forces you to dodge things. Oh, what are you doing? Is this the Baron one? Yeah, it's a real
Yeah.
nasty. I like that enemy. That was the last enemy I designed, and it's definitely the smartest one in the game.
Was it before or after the Death Knight? Whoops.
The Death Knight existed before the Baron.
Okay. I wasn't sure which was first, because it seemed like the Death Knight was like a variation of these, but it seems like it's more. It was kind of the similar art, but done in a
Yeah, I
different
mean
way.
they're both, they're all triangles.
Yeah, that's true. That is
But
true.
the Barons are tricky because they'll actually dodge particles. No other enemy will do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were real fun to write too. But yeah, then again, I like coding.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty good. The Death Knight definitely does not track nearly as well as these guys do, honestly. Death
No,
Knight's
the Death
kind of
Knight's just
stupid.
kind of fast and invincible. If you're not worried about other stuff, the Death Knight is super easy to dodge. He just messes you up when you have other things on screen you have to be thinking about.
I mean, for me, usually it's just when he gets close, do a tiny loop and then a slightly wider loop, and he's gone.
For sure.
I think I was doing better with the other one. I actually had 30 seconds with the other one right as I died, but it was like 30.1. But I guess it takes a little moment to track or something. Weird.
Yeah, sorry, I'm watching your like 5-second delayed feed. Yeah,
5? No, it's like
the Hardy
50
ship.
seconds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm just
There we go.
I don't know. I'll try not to comment on it too much.
It's all good.
By the time
No,
anyone
it's
sees
fine.
like
It's
way
fine.
done.
Yeah,
like,
just
what is
remember
that?
it was the one that was kind of 2 rounds before.
yeah. It's like that Mr. Show sketch with the pre-recorded call-in show.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that show is awesome. I haven't seen it in years. I've got 2 snitches and I am not catching them with this.
No, not with the Hardy show.
Not with the Hardy shit. Cascade will get him just fine though, because that sweeping motion. I just need to get kind of close and get a good swing at him. Still haven't.
Yo, I feel like
done
this is like Particle Mace pro tip hour. Anyone watching this feed is gonna get so good at the game.
Oh yeah, and he's got the stealth advantage here, so it's yeah, faster ship might help too, but
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
probably be okay.
ooh, this is one of the parts where I definitely recommend photosensitivity warning. Like right in the
Yeah?
middle here. Yeah. That's because it's not just lots of contrasting colors, but also things that are blinking and flashing. And
Yep, that is good to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's actually one of the folks on the team. I was actually pretty much gonna recommend not to have her play. She actually has some of the issues with things blinking and flashing. So I was wondering, you know, if there was a photosensitivity mode. Otherwise, for like the stealth
isn't,
mission,
but there probably should be.
yeah, just if the background was static instead of you know, kind of dynamic like this, moving around. It's just a looping sort of thing for the background, right?
So, sorry, I'm just writing the photosensitivity thing.
Sure.
So the background is actually, it's a Perlin noise, so it's generative. It'll be different every time.
Okay.
Perlin noise is this type of pseudo-random number generation that is designed to make kind of more lifelike patterns. The numbers kind of exist on a spectrum, so as you kind of move along it, you get variations, not totally random numbers. I could talk about Perlin noise a lot. I've actually given a few lectures on it. It's just a super useful tool for kind of naturalistic randomness.
I've used it in 3D modeling actually for textures.
Totally. So that's what that background is doing.
Gotcha.
And then I don't draw all the values. I only draw so it's giving me a value between 0 and 255, and I'm only drawing the values divisible by 5, which is what the kind of topographic map look.
That's weird.
Yeah. That background actually is the first thing that ever happened with this game. Back when I was working on it at Parsons.
Wow.
That predates the asteroids.
Kill 6 foes in the sea of stars. This is gonna be pretty easy. They just fly right into these.
Yeah, you'll get this, no problem. Yeah, you gotta throw some easy ones in there to mix it up.
There we go. That was pretty quick.
You don't have it yet. I'm sorry, I'm watching the old feed.
Yeah, you're watching it for a moment ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you're awfully cocky there. You only hit 1 so far.
Yeah. No, I was pretty thorough there. 6x multi-kill. Pretty easy. I'm not even gonna switch off the Cascade ship. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for a few of them to pile up and come after me. Hey guys. Hey guys. How's it going? Is there any more of you around here? Nope. Alright. I must wait some more. Oops. Whoops. Alright, that's 2. There's 3. Yeep. Oh, I almost got Hiker going. Alright, this should probably be enough to start it.
Are you going for a big multi-kill?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The star dodged
Right now,
away.
so- yeah, you get all excited and then you just lose it. I don't know, I'm actually super bad at kiting the foes. I'm actually bad at this game. You'd be surprised. I'm alright at arcade mode, and then in deathmatch, I'm just like embarrassingly bad. It's right, for the folks watching at home, he's trying single player mission mode, but there is like total multiplayer. You can do co-op, you can do deathmatch. Super fun.
Yep. It is.
Yeah,
We got to see it on the live or the big screen rather at Indiecade.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was. It's unfortunate I didn't get a chance to stay around and watch some of the action for very long. We were actually about to. Basically, we were heading on out at that point. I was just kind of making my goodbye rounds, like, "Oh, hey, Particle Mace, hell yes!"
Yeah, it was good seeing you there, though.
Absolutely. I always try to go to Indiecade. It's a good time.
Oh, I love Indiecade. That's like my favorite conference.
8, 9. Nope, I can't get 10. There was nothing else to kill.
it's too bad. You get that really satisfying sound when you hit 10.
Yes, you do. I think another thing for the photosensitivity is how it does that like kind of really juicy zoom in
Like
kind of
zoom on
thing.
the-
Yeah, when you hit that impact, I think is something that might distract people a little bit. So for photosensitivity
Sure. I
mode,
mean, it's kind of designed to be at least a little bit deliberately distracting. The fact that it could cause a medical issue is definitely something I'm going to look into.
If it
But I
just-
mean, that's actually a little bit harder than the background because I can kill the background in like whatever the game's the same. But for sure, high score hunters, if they can turn off that zoom, will do that.
well, just putting the pause in place even.
Yeah.
Like that,
That's true.
that's enough. That's enough to throw off somebody's rhythm. But yeah, I could see how a high score person would go for it. And, is what it is. Score 200
Yeah, but-
within 600. Okay.
Those are totally the kind of things that are just really easy to not think about, and then like it's obviously such a good idea. One of the other things I need to do for this game is implement a colorblind mode,
Yeah.
which I do not currently have in the game. Which obviously you'll just switch the colors up. It would assume like red-green colorblindness just because that's the most common. But right now the game isn't super friendly with that, and I think the photosensitivity thing is in the same camp of just like accessibility issues that really aren't that big a deal to include and definitely like make the game playable for people. So that's super important.
Yeah. Well, there's also, it's pretty interesting that you can use different, not just different shades of gray, but different patterns. I think about like Game Boy, for example, how they represented different colors and different tones and such. They would use like for an 8x8 sort of thing. It wouldn't all be necessarily one color. They would have like color next to it, sort of thing. It would have maybe an outline of one color, and then on the inside it was a striped pattern of some sort or whatever. So things like that can be done to make it readable for people with photo deficiency. Just one other. These are all sorts of things. I think it'd probably be optional toggles would be the best way to go instead of just like full
Oh yeah,
on,
I would just set it up in the option screen.
yeah. A 3x kill with goofy tethers? What are goofy tethers?
I don't know, man. Press
Oh.
X and find out.
Oh.
Yeah, they're just super long.
Well, fortunately, I have the Cascade ship. So, all I need to do is try to well, first I gotta get somewhere where I don't have the red background. Or I guess it's red background for the rest of the game at this point, isn't it?
No, one of your missions is causing that. I think it's Leave Us Alone.
Oh.
No, that's a mission specific thing.
Oh.
Yeah, check the mission descriptions. Yeah, Leave Us Alone is definitely what's causing that red background.
Don't
So
hit any
so
hidden-
finish that one and you'll actually get normal missions again. But good luck doing that one with the goofy tethers.
Yeah, that's true. Just needs to get a 3x kill, huh?
Yeah, you can do it.
Get it? Yeah, there we go. Just kiting them from very, very, very far away. That's how it goes. If anybody in chat has any questions, go right ahead and ask. It's kind of an open sort of thing here. So, you've kind of talked about the plans going forward with the project here. What about just for you in general with development and games and what you want to be doing?
Yeah. So the studio I'm at, Golden Ruby Games, we're actually pretty far along working on a game called Extreme Exorcism, which is a lot of fun. That one is it's kind of an arena platformer, sort of super crate boxy, except every enemy in the game is an exact recording of your previous round. So
Neat.
each round ends when you kill the newest ghost, and then the round restarts. But now you've got this other recording running around doing all the stuff you did with all the same weapons. So that game's a lot of fun.
That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Then just my personal.
What platforms is that going to be?
Looks like that will be PC, Mac, and consoles.
Cool.
It'll be exciting. So yeah, I've got that, and then this is my main other project. I don't have too many other things going on right now.
Gotcha.
My girlfriend just released her game, Slam City Oracle. Well, not released, but just made a game called Slam City Oracles that was just shown at NYU as part of No Quarter.
What is Slam
it's
City
that game.
Oracles?
So it's super cool. It's this 2-player game about 2 girls who dance so hard they tear a city down. It almost feels like that's like Katamari Damacy with like Rampage. It's pretty cool. So that's been a lot of fun. That the end of that development got super hectic. So I've seen a lot of that process. That's been a part of my game design life recently. That was cool. I don't know what else is going on after this. I don't really know. We'll see. I got some ideas.
Cool.
But they're still top secret / entirely untested, so they probably won't get used.
Gotcha. So, what exactly was Particle Mace made in?
Oh yeah, so this is actually Open Frameworks, which is not a super common game development thing. Open Frameworks was developed mostly for kind of live visual art. A lot of installation art stuff uses it as well. It's sort of a cousin of processing, if you know that.
Not familiar, no.
Yeah, no, this stuff exists kind of more in the like hackerish tech art field than games.
Nice.
As opposed to something like Unity. But there are a few people making games in Open Frameworks. Most notably Zach Gage. You probably know Spell Tower, BitPilot. Those games. Those are Open Frameworks.
A little familiar with them.
Yeah. Oh, Ridiculous. He worked on Ridiculous Fishing. That iOS version of Ridiculous Fishing.
I've never heard of that actually. Ridiculous.
Seriously?
What is Ridiculous Fishing?
Oh, it's Ridiculous Fishing is Lambier's iOS game from like a year and a half ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's super good.
Yeah, I don't have access to iOS, so I would not have access to it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's a Lambier game, so you can be pretty confident about it.
Yeah, they make good stuff.
Yeah, totally. I was given a talk today about a different game I worked on a while ago. Actually, it's like 2 years old, called Doodle Defense. But just when we were getting things ready, they needed to test the audio, and I put on a Luftrausers video that I have open in another tab. And I was just like, I should not be putting on Lambier games before talking about my own games, because like that's not a comparison. I need to invite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got a giant team, and they've also been at it for a few years now, if I'm not mistaken. Or don't they have a giant team, or is it kind of small?
They really don't. It's mostly 2 guys.
Oh, really?
And then there's a guy they use a lot for art. But JW and Rami are the only that's Lambier.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough Lambier talk. They already get enough press.
That's true. That is true.
No, I mean, yeah, they're rad. They do really good work.
They are. Well, actually, that was kind of a funny thing, and we're going to change subjects really quick, but I've had the hardest time getting an email back from Rami because we were trying to set up an interview, but he's just always so busy everywhere, like all around the world, so it's hard to get him for anything for a moment. But yeah, anyway, so getting back on the subject, so you said you've got secret plans. You're not going to reveal them. I'm not going to try to hint at them or have you hint at them or anything like that. But I guess once Particle Mace is out, do you plan to either support it with more content and features, or do some sort of a workshop sort of thing so people can make mods or other content for it?
Yeah, we'll see. I have some potential thoughts there. A lot of it's going to kind of depend on the initial reception. I will say for sure, I don't want Particle Mace to just be like, I don't want that to be my career.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
I've been working on this game for a really long time, and I love this game. It's one of my favorite games I've ever worked on. But it is the kind of thing where I'm kind of like, I'm itching to do other projects.
Yeah. No, we understand.
In terms of, I'd say there's a good chance that, there will at least be some updates. Probably a little bit more content, depending on how things go. I've thought about making a level editor for multiplayer. I can't promise that. That may be more trouble than it's worth. So we'll see. Yeah, there's some potential for that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that would be really fun, and we'll see if this happens, would be bringing it to console.
That would be pretty awesome. That would.
Well, yeah, I mean,
would you?
So close.
Would it be able to fit on the Oh Yeah? 'Cause I think this would be
Possibly.
a great title for it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the fact that it's an Android system makes that a little harder. The thing I'm using to make it Open Frameworks is it can deploy to Android, but it's not super easy. I've got an Open Frameworks app running on an Android device, but it was trouble.
Gotcha. It's mostly designed for iOS products then?
So it's designed for PC, Mac, and iOS.
Okay.
If
Gotcha.
it was coming to console, I have some thoughts about how I would do that. But it's not like Unity where I can just flip a switch.
Right.
Not that you really just flip a switch in Unity either, but Unity's
No.
good for that stuff.
It does definitely speed up the process quite a bit.
Yo, I'm just gonna recommend Jellyship for what you're doing right now. If you want to take care of Leave Us Alone.
Yeah, I probably should use Jellyship for it.
I know you like Cascade. I know it's your favorite.
Yeah, but it just ends up, some of those longer ones end up catching things. Jellyship.
Also, I'm a real bastard with this. Like, I've tested these missions so many times, run through all of the missions. I don't even know how many times. So at this point, I know I was saying before that I'm like bad at this game, but the missions, I can do these suckers quick.
Nice.
This is what happens when you're the only person working on a game. You're also the QA department.
Let's see. Hyper Robot. Because I don't have Jelly unlocked yet. I guess Heavy would be the next best.
Yeah, Heavy is probably pretty solid.
So yeah, you gave a presentation at NYU. You were at was it a games camp last week?
Yeah, this past weekend I was at Gamer Camp up in Canada, which is a really cool conference. I'd never been before.
Nice. And you gave a presentation there too?
I mean, I wasn't giving a talk or anything, but I had the game set up. I was there all
cool.
weekend. Yeah, people could come by, play it. It was a lot of fun. I was next to some other really cool games. It was right by Mushroom 11, and this game called Apsis that's about, like, flocking birds. It's very meditative.
Nice.
And Soft Bodies by an NYU guy named Zeke, actually, which is this... He calls it a bullet heaven game. It's this, like, twin-stick, weirdly soothing, like, cool sounds, bullet hell experience. It's super good.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was really nice. I was next to all these awesome games. Had a bunch of people coming over playing it. It was a good environment. Unfortunately, it was the last year that Gamer Camp ran, so if you guys are listening in, there's this great conference that tragically doesn't exist anymore.
That sucks. Oh well. Maybe it'll come back in some form someday.
Yeah, we can hope.
Invincible Onslaught for 40 seconds? Don't mind if I do.
Oh, you beat it. Nice.
Yep.
All right, you can actually have the background back.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Poundsign, how's it going, buddy?
So what now?
Oh, it's one of the folks in chat. One of the regulars.
Oh,
He
cool.
actually hosts a server for Kriya, if you've ever heard of that. It's a 2D sandbox sort of thing with level ups and RPG elements. Pretty cool stuff.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's worth checking out if you're into those sorts of games. But yeah, he's a regular around these parts, so I like to give him a shout out. Also,
Yeah.
if you notice, if anybody knows at the bottom of the screen, I think he was also my most recent donor. So,
And there you go.
Yeah. Cool. So that was pretty easy. Silly Death Knight. You can see how I just give him the slip, and he has to make this wide
Oh no,
loop.
that's what you totally do with him. That's the trick. Is you just cut him off last second, and then he just loops around. His turning radius is really bad. Later missions, I actually tighten his turning radius a little bit, but yeah, I mean the point with him isn't really so like it's kind of a goofy thing with this game, or not goofy, but interesting. The enemies just aren't challenging. The enemies aren't there to be challenging. They're MacGuffins. You almost never die from getting hit by an enemy in this game. You die from crashing into an asteroid because you're looking at an enemy and trying to like have your particles hit it while you're flying around. Like they really just serve to distract you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I totally gave up, with the exception of the Baron, a little bit on having like genuinely tough enemies because it just wasn't interesting.
Right. Well, it's one of those sorts of things. If you're going to make enemies that much tougher, you're going to have to give us more tools to deal with them. And that doesn't seem like the point of it. It's like you press buttons to get through the interface, and other than that, you could basically play this with an Atari joystick.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's one-handed, and you can also play this game with a drink in hand, which is great at parties. Yeah, I mean, and that was my biggest design goal. If I had any aspect of it that I really went in like knowing what I wanted, it was to make a really tricky, twitchy arcade game that was just incredibly pick up and play. I mean, like when I'm showing this game, I hand someone a controller and I tell them use the joystick. I'm like, pretty much they're done at that point. Like, you know how to play it. So I was really hardcore on no buttons being used in game and no power-ups.
That makes sense.
I wanted to, like, you learn how to play it by you fly around a little bit, you smash something, or you crash into something, and you figure out that you do want to smash things, that you don't want to crash into things, and you're good. It's not like, oh, but you can pick this item up, and now you have this special. They're like, nah, I don't want to deal with any of that. I wanted it to be really, really simple without sacrificing any of that kind of twitchy challenge.
I getcha. Well, it's definitely... You've definitely got that going here. It's pretty simple to learn. It doesn't take more than 1 or 2 sessions to pretty much understand what's going on. Well, it only takes a couple of rounds with each of the ships to understand their differences. And since you can't switch ships in the middle of things, like that would be the only power up I could maybe see, is something where you have the option to switch your ship to like a backup or something.
Yeah, so the ships are actually, that's where I kind of get around that a little bit. That's where I'm able to add a little more variety. So originally it was just the one ship. It was just the normal ship, and it became clear that like it was just missing something. And so, like I said, I didn't want to add power-ups. I didn't want to have things switching the rules on you in-game. But having these ships you can unlock was kind of a nice way to deal with that, because if you just want to button mash and play the game, great. You don't have to learn about it at all.
Right.
They're almost this optional thing where it's like, oh, you're like, I'm going to try this ship right now. So it lets people ease into a little bit and approach it to the degree that they want to approach it. Anyway, I see Mr. Poundstein in the comments here. He asked about a Linux version, and I apologize. As you saw, it's Windows and Mac only right now. A Linux version is very possible, but since I'm a one-man dev team and I've got a full-time job that isn't this game, it hasn't been something that I ever did, and I appreciate the offer to port it as well. But there's a good chance I could set up a Linux environment and build this without too much of a hassle. The controller library would probably be the trickiest thing. Open Framework's totally place-friendly with Linux, so it's a distinct possibility.
Nice. Yeah, he knows the stuff. He could definitely probably help you port it. Yeah, he also knows a lot of network stuff if you ever want to try to do a online multiplayer sort of thing. Smart dude.
Yeah, I mean, online multiplayer, that's one of those things where, like, if this makes a ton of money, yeah, I'll totally look into it, but the amount of effort that would be required to make that work well is just like...
This isn't the next League of Legends, but, we're clear about that.
Yeah, well, and also, like, those kind of twitchy games, like, things like strategy games, shooters, and all that, you can fudge a lot of numbers, but, and, like, Bennett Foddy has a great article about this, about, like, why Towerfall doesn't have online multiplayer. And it's because, like, those kind of more platforming more like impact-based things like shooting the arrows and all that, like you can't fake that with lag nearly as well. Like in a shooter, I can be like, okay, my system knows that I shot you. Even though on your system you're technically like 2 feet away, you don't really know that I wasn't shooting right where you were. So it's like, okay, cool, you hit him, I'm gonna count it. But you can't do that in a game like this, where like they're gonna see if my particle hit you or not. So it would be hard to do well.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Not impossible, but it's not anything. I'd say a Linux version is more likely than a networked version at this point.
Understandable. All right. Well, it's 20 seconds. I need 40 seconds, don't I? 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got it.
Crap. I was gonna go for hiker too, but nope. Next time.
That hiker for a while.
Yeah, I have. It's a tough one. I needed to do it when I only had two particles.
Makes it easy. Yeah. How long do you have to go with hiker?
With
I know it's a nasty.
with hiker, it's just touch all the points without smashing a rock.
Right. Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Poundsign, people were saying Hammer Fight earlier. I think I played that once and it was a little weird for me. I like this a lot more.
Yeah, Hammer Fight is super cool. I didn't design the mechanic with that game in mind, because this game's mechanic came about largely accidentally. But for sure, I played Hammer Fight, so like that was in there. And yeah, I think that game's pretty neat. They have the kind of interesting approach where there's like gravity in that game, first of all, the way the hammer falls down. And like theirs is much more of a chain. Like I have this very kind of elastic approach, and theirs has this like distinct physics thing, which has like a super satisfying weight and heft. Yeah, Hammer Fight's a cool game.
It is. Sure is.
Defender and Spore. Spore, that's an interesting one. I wouldn't have picked that one out.
I think Jane is just throwing stuff out there. Stop being a troll. Another regular around these parts. Well, at least I got no touching done. Smash 10 without killing a foe. That shouldn't be too tough. Yeah. It's just such a lot of fun, and I'm really glad. You know, I'm sure you enjoy getting a chance to watch people play it because you can kind of see their style and you know, compare it with other people you've watched and how you do your techniques. And that's probably where a lot of your balancing stuff comes from, huh? Just like
totally, and this kind of thing is also fun because I almost never watch people play mission mode. Usually, when I'm watching people play the game, it's multiplayer. So like, yeah, I know when you were playing it a few months ago, I took a ton of notes then. I was seeing all sorts of things that were wrong.
Oh, really? Like what?
It feels way better this time. I don't know, like dumb things. It's just like, that mission shouldn't be doing that. Like it should be this way or whatever. This time I feel pretty good. I only took notes about the photosensitivity stuff.
Nice.
I'm also like the weirdo at a party or something. Anytime I'm showing this, I'm like, I just have my notebook in hand. I'm writing everything down. Spore because of the big rocks. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, why not? This game kind of reminds me of The Sims.
In what way?
No, I don't know. Just thinking of other Will Wright games that I can't say this game especially reminds me of. Particle Mace is pretty much just like Civilization. It's identical.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be like a story from some part of one of the Civilization games or something, where it's somebody who's stranded in space with only trash and some tethers. And, you know.
Why not?
And limited warp drive fuel or something.
Yeah. The plot to this game is pretty loose.
It is.
I will admit that.
It's a clone of Destiny. Shut the fuck up. Well, wait. Damn
comparisons in my like press release. Be like, it's just like World of Warcraft meets Destiny meets Spore.
Yeah, well,
my arcade game.
you've got video evidence of it here, so if anybody
Yeah, that's right.
challenges it, it's like, nah, I see. People in a Twitch chat room are definitely, journalistic sources of reputable integrity. Clearly. Alright, so I've got 4 of these points to get to. Can't smash too many asteroids. And by that I mean I can't hit any at all.
Yeah, you gotta knock that. You need to knock that hiker one out, man. You've had that the whole time I've been on.
Yeah.
Did you already hit one?
Yeah. I need the jelly ship, but you don't get that until 80 missions.
That is nasty on my end, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was different conditions to unlock it before. Like the surviving the asteroid mode for some amount of time or something.
There's a chance I switched that up.
Alright, well.
Mr. Poundson likes the music. That's awesome. So I didn't do the music. This guy, Nathan Chambers, who's at Bubble Pipe Media, he did all the music for it, and he did like a killer job. I agree. I like the music too. But one of his big things was, so mission mode has a looping soundtrack because it just, you hop in, you hop right out. But since the normal arcade mode, you're supposed to try to stay alive as long as you can, he had this thing he wanted to do, and he totally did, where he didn't want the music to loop. So easy and hard mode have like 9-minute soundtracks. And I actually have an achievement for getting the hard mode soundtrack to loop, which is like, it's so goddamn hard. Like, until this guy on Steam started posting videos, we literally thought that just no one was ever going to hear parts of these songs. But so it goes through this whole progression, and like it gets like super intense, like builds up, and then like kind of breaks at one point, and you get this like crazy transcendent moment, like 5 minutes into the hard mode soundtracks. It's super hard to get to, where you already like have to be so in the zone to do it. I really love it. He just did a killer job.
Well, let's see how far we can get with it here.
Yeah, do it, man. The soundtrack will almost certainly be available when the game comes out. So
nice.
You can check that out even if you can't get there in game.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I mean, this is the sort of game I could see, really just doing well. People enjoying just by themselves, being able to do the whole arcade thing with it. I guess the main thing is I need to not focus on score because I'm just looking for survival to listen to the music. I guess I can go for score a little bit and get some multi-kills here and there when they start grouping up.
I mean, staying alive is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You always want to take not dying over getting a score, or like a higher score.
Yeah. And of course that means minimizing risk. Alright. So I think the arena's about to start moving here.
Yep.
So do you have the pattern memorized for how it moves?
No, I totally don't. I know what happens, like what sort of things happen roughly when, but like I never remember that, like, oh, when this starts moving, it starts sliding to the right. I'm like, oh yeah, about this time it'll probably start spinning, about this time it'll probably start moving, about this time it'll probably start contracting. But I totally do not have the pattern memorized, and it didn't really occur to me that people would until that guy like was posting those videos and being like, hey, so I just memorized the pattern. It's like, wow, you're super good at this game. But that's why we put stuff out there, because if I was the best one at the game, like that would be a failing.
That takes practice.
Well, it takes practice, and also like if I'm the best person at my game, it's probably not that interesting a game.
Not necessarily.
It's a super bad sign. Yeah, I mean, kind of, but whatever. I'm better at making games than I am at playing them, and that's fine. If no one on Steam could like beat my score, then I made some like weird game that only I understand or only I'm interested in playing.
I guess in terms of it being a Twitch game, I could see that games with more of an informational advantage. I could see like a roguelike or something, for example. If you know all the information inside and out. It's not something that's really Twitch based at all. It's completely strategy, and it's you'll have the informational advantage. Therefore, you'll always be the most probably one of the best people, if not the best person at the game.
That's true to an extent, but any really interesting system, like the designer doesn't fully understand it. Yeah, you're totally right, especially with like a more roguelike based thing, that they'll have a big advantage. And I think it's safe to say that like Edmund McMillan is one of the better Binding of Isaac players, but he's not the best.
No, that's true.
And I do really think if you create, as a creator, if you make something that you are just straight up the best, like, it's probably because other people aren't as interested in playing it. Like, there's some guy who will spend so much time, or girl, who's going to spend so much time with the system, to know it as well, at least be able to manipulate it as well, if not better than you as the creator. So,
right.
All that boils down to is I don't mind that there's a guy on Steam who's killing my work. Folks on Steam killing my score.
Yeah, like if I made a street fighting game, I would imagine someone would be way better than me at it. Even though I might memorize all the frame data or know it all, I can't necessarily act on it the same way someone else can.
Yeah, on Street Fighter is a weird example, because like if you want to talk about memorizing game stuff, like Street Fighter is just the prime example of that. I do not understand high-level Street Fighter play.
Yeah, that stuff, like the cancels and all of that sort of stuff is just
like, I love reading about it, but if I watch a match, I'm just like no, this is lost on me. But like high-level Street Fighter play is just like, oh, it's so fascinating to read about like the level of strategy and thought going into like split-second things. That game is just like, it's super good.
It is. I see a Baron.
Alright, just see the thing here. Mr. Poundsign mentioned controller support. I'm using a Steam library. No, so I'm actually not using a Steam library. I'm using a library that was designed for open frameworks called OFX Gamepad Companion, I think. That works pretty well, although I've had a few issues. I had to edit a little bit of it just to make it work a little better for this project. I'm probably going to push my changes to their Git at some point in case they want to use it. So it would pretty much just be a matter of getting a version of that working on Linux, or some other workaround. But I've overall liked OFX Gamepad Companion. That's one of the nice things about Open Framework. All the libraries are, you just get the code, so I can tweak things. It's not really anything proprietary.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yo, you got a healthy score going.
Yeah, I do.
I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I had one going and then I blew it, and then I've got another one going here now, but now that it's starting to shift into that pattern that took me out last time, I gotta get myself a little closer towards the middle.
Yeah, you recall it when it was in that star shape.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of the star shape and the fact that it's moving.
Yeah,
It's going to the right. I think it's going left or down. It was starting to collapse down. Alright. Well, this is the end of the hour. Did you want to keep going for a little bit, or did you want to kind of bow out at this point?
I probably should, unfortunately. I have a few more things I need to get done tonight, because game dev keeps you busy. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was really cool to watch you play it. And I'm glad Nathan's music is getting some love in the comments here.
It is awesome stuff. Everybody can go to, I believe it's just bubblepipemedia.com, or you can find him on SoundCloud. Just check out his music. It's amazing stuff. He's really, really cool. And he also loves pinball games. He is like, if you want to know about pinball or have a good discussion, he is somebody who knows very, very much about them. So
I forget, will Twitch let me post links in the comments, or does it?
Yeah, you can do it. It's some channels have it limited, but I have moderators that can drop the
Oh,
hammer.
you know what? I'm not signed in on Twitch, so
just
sorry.
just drop it in on Skype and I can
Yeah, it's bubblepipemedia.com
okay.
is his site.
There we go.
Yeah, and I don't know, just quick plug. This game is particlemace.com. You can go to that site. You can pick it up on Steam Early Access. You can also get it on Humble or Itch.io. And both of those services are super, super cool, and I recommend people using them when they can.
The is the humble version gonna have a Steam code to it, or was it just the old ones that didn't have a Steam code?
If you buy it on the Humble store, you'll get a Steam code. If you got it previously, or you like just buy it now through Itch.io or like the Humble widget on my store, I have a thing. You can email me, and I'll be like, yes, that is in fact the email you bought. Here's a Steam code.
Okie dokie. Gotcha. Cool deal. Well, that's it, everybody. So if anybody out there previously bought it and you want to get the Steam version, but you can't because you didn't get the Steam Access version, just send an email and you can get it going.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. I will see you later.
All right. Cheers.